everyone. Well, my story comes from a very, very interesting place. You think that stories come from books and from other people, right? Am I right? I'm not sure, maybe. But, well, let me tell you, outside my home, there is a lovely park with swings and slides and tall leafy trees. And these trees provide lots of shade on a sunny day. And so children love to come here to play on the swings and the slides, and they run around with their bread and their snacks. And recently, we had a new resident at this park. I call him a resident because he seems to be staying there, staying put, and he's there every day. So let me show you who this new resident is. He's a rooster. Can you see him at the bottom of my screen? I'm actually talking to him. You see, I'm asking him a question because I always thought that roosters crow only in the mornings. And many stories tell us that roosters crow in the mornings because they call the sun to rise. But this rooster, well, I call him Randy the rooster, he crows in the evenings. Like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, he will start to crow. And all the neighbors are confused. And in fact, they were confused when he first came because they said, "Is this your rooster?" And we all said no, and we don't know where he came from. And so now we're all confused because he crows in the evenings. So one day, when I came home from work at about 6:30, I parked my car and opened the door, and there he was. And I thought, okay, let me find out. So I walked over to him and I squatted down and I said, "Rooster, why do you crow in the evenings? Don't all roosters crow in the mornings?" And Rooster puffed up his feathers and he went, "Book, book, 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 book." I kid you not. Rooster started to tell me this story. And I listened. So this is the story Rooster told me. A long, long time ago in China, there was an amazing race across China. And there were 12 animals in this amazing race. And why were these animals racing? Well, the king, the emperor of China, decided that he wanted to name 12 years after 12 animals. So he got his wizard to summon 12 animals to his imperial palace in the city. And so animals came from the north, from the south, from the east, and from the west. And when they got to the imperial palace in the city, the wizard told them that here you are for a race, and the years will be named after you. First will be first and second and third and so on until 12 years. Now, some of the animals they looked at themselves and they thought, "Ooh, I'm going to be first. I'm very, very fast." And, even some of the smaller animals, there were 12 animals. So the big animals were the dragon, the horse, the ox, and the tiger. And then there were the medium animals, the pig, the dog, the monkey, and the goat. And then there were the small animals, the rooster, the rabbit, and the rat. And one more long animal. Yes, that's right, the snake. So these 12 animals, they were really excited, but Pig was not so excited. Pig looked at the big animals and he thought, "Wow, they are strong, much stronger than me." And then he looked at the small animals and he thought, "Wow, they are fast, much faster than me. I definitely won't be first. Will I even finish this race?" And then he looked in the direction that the wizard was pointing to get to the palace in the mountains. And the journey was going to be long and difficult. They had to go up mountains and down the other side. They had to go through the deep, dark woods where the leaves whispered secrets to one another. They had to go through big meadows where the grasses spoke to one another. And they had to go through the desert where the sands whispered secrets to one another too. And Pig, he thought, oh dear, I think I've bitten off more than I can chew. Now, Wizard, being Wizard, he had special ears and he could hear what all the animals were thinking and what all the animals were feeling. And he could sense Pig's self-doubt. And so he said to all the animals, there are 12 of you. So you cannot all be first, but you can all finish the race. And you can all help one another. And when the going gets tough, well, you can say this to one another. Little by little, step by step, the road is long, but the race is on. One foot here and the other foot there. You'll make it today. You'll make it every day. And once he said that, he said, ready, on your marks, get set. Can you all say it with me? Go! And all the animals ran out of the imperial palace, all. Now, tiger and dragon, they were the big animals, right? So they were snarling and biting at each other. They both wanted to be first. And rabbit tried to keep the peace. So rabbit went in between the two of them and, put them apart. Now, when ox saw that, he took the opportunity and he ran ahead of tiger and rabbit and dragon. And some of you might know this, there was rat hanging on to ox's tail, right? And so ox ran ahead. And so when they got to the woods, they had to find their way through the trees and avoid the low branches and avoid the roots. And they encouraged one another. And then when they got to the huge meadow, they all ran ahead. And in this way, they made their way to the imperial palace in the mountains. Now, all this time, the wizard and the emperor, they were on their magic carpet, following all the animals and looking down at them and seeing them racing. And they could see that the animals were helping one another. Horse was always encouraging the other animals, and he ran to the back and told Pig, come on, you can do it. And dog also said to Pig, come on, you can do it, And then they said what the wizard taught them, little by little, step by step. The road is long and the race is on. One foot here and the other foot there. You'll make it today. You'll make it every day. And in this way, Pig went trotting on to finish the race. So when they got to the imperial palace in the mountains, Ox was way ahead and he ran and he went all the way to the gate. He didn't want to crash into the emperor and his wizard. So he came to a stop at the gate. And when he did that, his tail went whoop, and Rat, who was hanging onto his tail, flew all over his head and landed right at the feet of the wizard and the emperor. And so Rat was first, followed by Ox, who was at the gate. Then came Tiger and Rabbit, who was keeping the peace, and Dragon. And then the other animals came along. And when they all looked back, they saw that Pig was, slowly making his way, but eventually he did it as they were all cheering him on. Come on, you can do this, you can do this. And so all 12 of them finished the race. And well, after listening to this, I said to Rooster, you still haven't told me why you crow in the evenings. Oh, Rooster said, that's right. That's what you were asking me. Well, you see, when we got to the desert, it was and still is way too hot to cross in the daytime. The sand will just burn your feet and the sun is just too hot. So we all decided that we would wait at the edge of the desert in the shade. And because it was so hot in the day, well, one by one, we started to fall asleep. But they put me in charge of waking them up in the evening. So when the sun was setting, it was my job to wake them all up. And that's what I did. And they all woke up and we ran through the desert in the night. And well, I know the race has been over for a long, long time. But sometimes when I fall asleep in the heat of the day, I still wake up in the evening and I still think that the race is on, and that's why I crow in the evenings. So that's the reason. So I thanked Rooster for his story, and I told him that, well, I asked him for permission. I said, can I tell your story at Feast Fest 2021? And well, Rooster was really proud and he said, oh, poo, 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 poo. Please tell my story. Poo, 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 poo. And show my picture if you would. So I did show his picture and I did tell his story. And now you know, if you are afraid and you think everyone is better than you, faster than you, stronger than you, just remember what the animals said to one another. Little by little, step by step. The road is long, but the race is on. One foot here and the other foot there. You make it today, you make it every day. So that's my story.